Hi guys, it's Elizabeth here. Welcome to my first YouTube video. I am going to try something new here for a little bit. I feel like life has been really crazy right now and I'm not having time to write and proofread and edit blog posts. I want to try something new and see if I do YouTube videos, if I can do that quicker than doing blog posts. So I feel like I have a lot to say, a lot of things I want to share with you, and I just have like no time to write right now. We are homeschooling. Maybe that's where I should start. Not all of you are maybe familiar with my blog. I do blog right now. I'm a Catholic homeschool blogger. We have 4 children right now. The oldest is 10. The next one's 6, 4, and 2. And our 6-year-old has epilepsy, and I spend a lot of my time preparing ketogenic meals for him as part of his therapy from his doctors. I feel like I spend almost all my time in the kitchen. So I just don't have a lot of time right now. So we're going to try this. If you like it, let me know. And if I can do it somewhat speedy, all right. If not, I'm just going to have to be content with vlogging a lot less, and that's fine because this is my season of life, and that's my main vocation, is to be a mother to my children and to homeschool, and I want to make sure I'm not neglecting that to blog. You know, that's just the icing, right? So I'm just trying this to see what this is like. I don't have a smartphone, so I can't even see what you are seeing right now. I'm just kind of shooting in the dark. I probably cut my head off, right? Anyway, let's get to the chase. This first video, I want to talk about our family's Christmas budget philosophy and also how we choose gifts for our kids. We're all thinking about Christmas right now. Today is December 11th when I'm filming this. Hopefully I can have it up in the next couple days. Hopefully the edits don't take long. Anyway, so we're all thinking about Christmas and Christmas giving. And I have most of my Christmas presents bought. There are about 3 presents that I have left remaining, and they're things I have to coordinate with my sisters to buy for my parents, and they always hang over my head until pretty close to Christmas anyway. So, but I'm going to talk just more about our immediate family, how my husband and I choose gifts for our kids. So as for a Christmas budget, we do not have a Christmas budget per se. Our family's budget has very general categories. So we have, you know, the recurring bills like telephone and cell phone, internet, electricity, those kinds of things. And then the more the expenses that change month to month, like groceries and miscellaneous spending, that's actually they're just a few little categories. I have homeschool, grocery budget, and miscellaneous. And our Christmas spending actually comes out of our miscellaneous. So, that said, I do spend more in November and December as I purchase our Christmas gifts. So I have to keep that in mind throughout the year. So January through October, I try to come in under budget. And I'm not trying to hit like a specific number every month, and I don't flip out if I go over, but I have this range where I want to try to keep our spending, and that's basically what our budget is. We don't do a cash-based system. We live totally debt-free, but I just find cash really difficult to deal with. So we do use a credit card, and I tally our spending at the end of every month, and I try to make sure I'm within range of where I'm supposed to be. And if I'm not, then I just back off the next month. So anyway, in preparation for November and December, I pull back January through October. The other thing I do to try to even out the spending throughout the year is our credit card earns cash rewards, and I cash those in every like October, November, and it just kind of evens the cash flow. It's not going to make or break our Christmas budget. If it did, I wouldn't be spending that money, you know. Anyway, it doesn't make or break our Christmas budget, but it just evens out the flow of money in the bank accounts a little bit more, if that makes sense. So, as for giving gifts, I want to talk about how we give gifts on a dime. First off, though, I think we need to talk about what the culture says Christmas is supposed to be like. They all go out on Black Friday. I'm not totally opposed to Black Friday shopping, but I see people go out and they're just buying things because they see it's a good deal and they might not necessarily need it. It's maybe the newest, best gadget. I don't agree with that type of spending, and our gifts reflect that. So our gifts are usually a necessity, or they can be something the kid wants. I'm not opposed to getting my kids toys. I get my kids toys, especially the younger ones, but the older ones have kind of aged out of a lot of toys, so I don't get them toys. I usually still get them something fun. I try to get them something fun, but it should be useful or necessary, and I don't want to just bring more clutter into my house. I try to be really careful about clutter. Sometimes I get so sick of clutter, I just rip everything off my walls and just live with like blank walls for a while. So I'm not going to invite extra clutter in at Christmas time. Okay? So if it is something that they want, it's just like a want, it has to be something that the right price. Okay? So remember though, I think it's important to remember, if we think back on our own lives, some of the gifts that were the most meaningful to us weren't necessarily purchased in a box at the store. They're often something that required something of the giver, their time, their heart, and their creativity. So remember that as you give gifts to your kids. Like, it doesn't have to just be some new thing in a box. So, the other thing about that is creating a big hoopla over Christmas can lead to disappointment. If we just build and build every year this Christmas and we're buying things, pretty soon we are going to run out of things that our kids need, or space in the toy room, and eventually we do have to rein it in, and then our kids are disappointed when we have to do that. Or maybe our budget doesn't allow for gifts one year, if our husband loses his job or something, and then our children are disappointed instead of focusing more on what the season is about and about giving ourselves. So, and I think for myself, we had big Christmases as a kid. It was usually things we needed, but it was kind of a big Christmas, and it did create some false expectations for me as I got older. Gift giving is my love language. It's not my husband's, so oftentimes I will get one gift on Christmas morning, and my family has piles of gifts, and I have one, and that's okay. I've had to just learn to accept that that's the way it is, and that's fine. I get other presents from other family, but oftentimes Christmas morning is just like one gift for me, and that's fine. But part of my initial disappointment with that was the expectation that I had built as a child. Okay, so the first place you could get Christmas gifts, and you are probably going to think I'm crazy for saying this, is garage sales. And to be honest, I know you're probably saying to be honest, some of my children's favorite Christmas gifts have come from garage sales. So my 4-year-old son, one year I saw, he's into like imaginative play, or he was 4 at the time, he's 6 now, and I got a sword for him for his 4th birthday, and I paid a dime for it at a garage sale. It was like, it may have even been in the free box, at the corner, and I just flipped through real quick. I didn't buy like anything else at the garage sale, and I saw this free or dime sword, and I picked it up. It's like a rubber foamy sword, and that thing has withstood the test of time, and it is so well loved. He plays with that all the time. Makes a great costume for All Saints Day or Halloween. He loves it. 10 cents. He was thrilled with it. I might not even have been able to find it at the store. I'd rather have $5 for his college education than gone and spent $5 on something that I could have bought at the garage sale like I did, right? Okay. Another thing we've gotten at a garage sale, this is Christmas's past, is a baby crib for my daughter. We didn't have a lot of girl toys because we had 2 boys first, and it wasn't in the best of shape, so I painted it, and she was thrilled with that. She still plays with it. It's like a nice wooden crib. I don't know, I maybe paid a couple dollars for that. Another thing, a balance bike. I really wanted to get our second son a balance bike one year, either for Christmas or his birthday. And my husband he said, no, I'm not comfortable spending $100 on a kid's bike. So he actually went about looking on Craigslist for a bike, a child's bike, and he just ripped the training wheels off of it. And that thing has been used to teach our children how to ride their bike. They all love it. They can keep up with me if I go for a run when they're like 3 years old. And they didn't know the difference that Dad spent, I don't know, $15 on it. Which, by the way, we would have been able to get cheaper if we would have gotten it at a garage sale, but I didn't have that much foresight. So we ended up buying out on Craigslist around Christmas. So it did cost a little bit more than if I would have bought it at a garage sale. Anyway, so $15, we had our balance bike, and we saved ourselves $75. Ching ching, college fund, right? Okay. It's obviously not garage sale season right now. It's Christmas. But this will give you ideas for next year. The other place to buy things like this is the thrift store. Often I find the thrift store, though, you have to be careful. Know your prices. Sometimes things are just as expensive in the thrift store as they are in the store. So you need to know your prices. I did pick up for my son this year a Nerf gun pistol for $1 at the thrift store. So that was a good deal. But they are not always a good deal. The other thing that we are giving this year from a garage sale is my daughter saw an antique wooden doll high chair at a garage sale we were at this summer, and I told the man when I checked out discreetly that I wanted to buy it, and then I put her in her car seat, I put it in the back of the car, and I put a blanket over it, and now it's under our tree, and it's been hiding in our basement for 6 months, and she's going to be thrilled to have that on Christmas morning. So the thing to remember is these aren't like gross, cruddy toys. I get my kids nice things secondhand. We live in a throwaway culture. A lot of people have 1 or 2 kids, sometimes by choice. Some people have 2 kids, that's all God gives them. A lot of America has 2 children, and then they just get rid of everything. And those kids have had big Christmases, so they have so many toys that so many of them don't get played with really well. And so I come along and I buy them at the garage sale, and I wrap them up, put them under the tree, and I put the rest of their money in their college fund, okay? So I'm not giving my kids cruddy things. Don't feel bad for my kids. They are thrilled on Christmas morning. The other thing at thrift stores or at a garage sale are books. 25 cents, that's pretty cheap. Books can get expensive really quickly. Another thought, so those are some cheap sources for gifts. The other thing is wrap up things that you would buy them anyway. So clothes. Save clothes buying until Christmas time. Try to get by with what they have in their wardrobe in fall. And I know sometimes that's really hard, especially if you live in a 4-season area like we do. November and December can be really cold. You better make sure your kid has a pair of pants, right? Or 2. Don't neglect your child and not give them adequate clothing and only give them clothing on Christmas. But if it's something extra that they can get by without for a while, then do that. And it just adds to the excitement of Christmas. It's not a fancy show item, but it's just another package for them to open under the tree. So an example of that is my oldest son is really outgrowing his tennis shoes. He's popping holes in them, but he can still wear them, and he's still getting life out of them. I bought tennis shoes for him on sale, and they're wrapped up and under the Christmas tree. Okay? So as a child, this was what I got a lot for Christmas, was clothes. My parents were dairy farmers and they worked really hard. They never had time to go shopping. I got clothes twice a year, usually around school time and around Christmas time. And that was really exciting to get new clothes. And it was Christmas. So, I mean, it's all in the expectation we build for our children. The other thing is, if you're a homeschooler, we homeschool books that you're going to use with your child anyway. And I'm not talking about homeschool curriculum. Don't go get them a Saxon math book, but books like literature books that you plan on reading to them. Maybe get your child the box set of the Little House on the Prairie book, or the Little Britches series. Other things besides just homeschool books are microscopes, bird feeders, telescopes, things that you're going to use anyway. And it adds to the excitement. You get all those expenses out of the way, and then you're not creating this year-round, like, oh, we need this, we're going to buy this. We need this, we're going to buy this. And it helps us not be so materialistic. Other things, like homeschool-wise, are simple activities for like the littler crew during homeschool time. So I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. They love to color, so new crayons or markers or activity books that they can play with. Those Water Wow, those are great. Things that I like to have on hand. I just wrap them up for Christmas and they can have that at Christmas time. So these are things that you're all going to buy anyway, right? Other fun essential things. I'm a really boring, cheap mom. I get my kids brown Band-Aids, the cheapest, 5-pack of toothbrushes for $1. And then they get the special character toothbrushes or the light-up toothbrushes at Christmas time. You don't know the excitement that creates to get like a light-up toothbrush. Or character Band-Aids. Those things are expensive, but it's okay to throw those in a stocking and they get thrilled to say, I got this for Christmas, it's my Hello Kitty Band-Aid. Things like that. Mechanical pencils. We got our son mechanical pencils for St. Nicholas Day and he was really excited about that. Other things are like food treats, things you don't normally buy your kids. We don't ever buy individual serving sizes, so maybe like little snack packs of even just like, if you want to do something healthy, applesauce that they can take to like a homeschool co-op day, or if your kid goes to school. If you don't buy those already, then that makes that a novel item and it's kind of exciting. The other thing my kids like is special tea, like berry tea. And then the other thing I want to chat with you about is encouraging generosity with our children. And the way I'm going about this year is we're doing a homemade Christmas for our children. So the 3 oldest, I didn't include the youngest one because it was just going to be me doing it. So the 3 oldest, 10, 6, and 4, I had them draw each other's names, and then they would sit with me, and we did an image search on Google, and we typed in like fun kid craft, and we looked at things that we thought they could make that would be a nice gift for them to give to the sibling that they had drawn their name. So my 4-year-old, she decided to make a Christmas ornament for her 6-year-old brother. She's 4, so I'm not going to expect something really fancy from her. But I did want to make sure that these gifts are like something nice, that it's not just going to be garbage for us to have around the house and something I end up throwing away, but a Christmas ornament that his sister made. That may be something in 20 years he hangs on his Christmas tree and he remembers her giving the Christmas ornament to him, and we're going to write her name on the back and the year. So she made little popsicle stick Christmas trees, and she loved it. We went down to the basement and we had a little workshop together, and she did it all herself. She painted it and glued a button on for the star, and then she made several more for her aunts and her grandmother. My 6-year-old son is going to make his older brother a tea mug. Have you seen the Sharpie mug crafts, where it's just like a white ceramic mug and you decorate it with a Sharpie marker and you bake it in the oven. The oldest brother really likes tea, makes tea every morning before homeschool, so that's his present. And then the oldest brother, I was really impressed. It was kind of my idea, and it was a really good challenge for him. He sewed a skirt for my little girl and a matching skirt for her fake American Girl doll. So that was a really good, easy beginner sewing project for him. And I do want my boys, I don't want them to be like girly or something, but I want them to be able to have basic skills like that. My brother-in-law, told a side topic, that my brother-in-law is this South Dakota cowboy, and he can sew and bake apple pie better than my sister. So you can have a manly man that knows how to do these more feminine things. I think it's great. So anyway, he just made her a really simple skirt and the doll a really simple skirt. And I just think that this is going to encourage giving some of themselves. They could go to the store, they all do have some spending money, but it's not money that they've earned through work. We don't do allowances. It's not money that they have earned through doing work. It's money that's been given to them as gifts. So they don't see that as part of giving themselves, like giving their money or making a sacrifice to give a gift to somebody. So I didn't want them going to the store and spending money. These had to be gifts that they could make with what we had on hand. We didn't spend a dime on these gifts. It was a lot of fun having me work with each one. It was like some special time during this busy season to spend with each child. And it was just a way to give of themselves, to encourage generosity, and they're all really excited about the gifts that they made, and it just makes it a lot more meaningful. It reminds me of Laura Ingalls Wilder when she was little, and they would be in corners secretly making each other's Christmas presents. I don't know that it's going to be a tradition that we do every year. I would love for it to be, but this year I had more time on my hands. We have like a baby or something. It might not always work out, but it would be something that I would like to continue in the future. So that is the end of this video, and if you like it, let me know and I will try to make more. We're gonna see if this works, and if you have questions for me, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you, or I'll try to answer them with a video. So long.